In this tutorial we're going to cover active posing. Active poses are an event in endorphin that allow you to keyframe the pose of the character within the simulation. You specify a period of time where the character tries to get into that specific pose. The advantage of this being within the simulation is that the character takes into account his own muscle strength, weight distribution, as well as any collisions. To demonstrate this, we're going to load up a scene of a character holding onto some gymnast rings and then perform the animation of the character simply using a series of active poses. So let's go and load up that beginning scene. So we go to File, Open Scene, go to Tutorial 10 Active Posing, and load the begin scene. So here you can see we've got the environment already set up. We have a static environment of the frame. The ropes have been loaded in as a chain of joints, and then some primitive objects attached as the rings, and then the character's hands are holding on to the rings using join bodies constraint. So if I simulate now just to show you what we have set up, you can see that the character's holding on, but he just falls down in a very much lifeless manner. So we want to now extend that animation. And we do that by starting to add active poses. So right click on the timeline, create active pose, and this first one wants to start at frame 0 and finish at frame 39. And then we can load a pose onto here by going right click and load pose. Now you can also manually pose the character as well using the pose tools, and that is covered in a separate tutorial. But here we're going to load a specific pose. So go to load pose, and in tutorial 10 directory, load pose number 1. Once the pose is loaded, we can then modify some of the parameters of the active poses, and we can do that here in the property editor. So first of all, I'm going to change the strength so that the character is going to have more strength for his internal muscles to be able to perform that pose. So if I change that to a strength of 4, now when I simulate, you see that the character holds that pose for a while and then falls down lifeless as he did before. So to extend that further, we can now add another active pose on. So this one we put it up to the last one and then take that to frame 69, and again go to load pose, and this time we're going to use pose number 2. So as you can see there, that is of the character starting to pull his arms up. So now we want to again give him a certain amount of strength to be able to perform that pose. So for this one I'm going to give him a strength of 6. So I also want to change the blend period of well. This is a time in seconds where he will ramp up to the maximum strength. I'm going to set this to 0.4. So now simulate again, and he starts to pull himself up, but then just falls down again. So to extend it further again, I can load another active pose. Again, have that butt up to the last one and take that to frame 113. Go to load pose number 3. So this one here, you can see that that's quite different. He's now beginning to swing his legs up. That's going to give him momentum to twist himself over. So the strength of this one, we're going to set that to a strength of 10, and the blend period again is going to be 0.4. So now simulate, pulls his arms up and then spins his legs over, but then just flops down as we go out of the active pose. So to continue this, get him hanging upright, I'm going to put this active pose to finish at 264. And then load pose, pose number 4, and that's of him actually hanging upright. So now I can give him a strength again of 10 and a blend period again of 0.4. So now we've got our character swings all the way up and is able to hold himself in that upright position. So as you can see, simply by using 4 active poses, we've been able to make a very smooth, very realistic looking animation. The character has plenty of weight within the simulation, and all this motion that we're getting on the ropes and the rings, that's all been getting for free, and of course we can export all of that out as well as the character's motion as well. And then to continue this character's motion on, we can just apply a couple more active poses and have the character come back down back into an upright position. So to play the complete animation, the character goes into the upright pose and then uses a couple more poses to bring himself back down more to the beginning of the animation.